stage 1 done, what better time than to look back and give credit where credit's due. So focusing on North America, this is how it's gonna work. I'm gonna give a category, and in tarot, you're gonna have to pick who you think would win in that category. Are you ready?
I think so.
It sounds very complicated, and of course, we want you guys to play along too, so definitely let us know who you think would win these categories via our socials at WatchRetake. All right, let's get started. So the first category, we have the Clutch Master. Ooh, who do you think wins the award for the best Clutch Master in North America?
I think this is an easy one.
Is it?
It's Bosco from Space
it.
Station. The man's 1vx statistics are exceptional. He's good in the clutch, as the name would suggest.
So do you think being in that kind of situation where you have to go like 1v, you know, how many players, do you think it's something you can actually practice?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's something that teams dedicate a lot of time to in scrims. I think it's just you play off of your team's ability to communicate well, your own personal abilities, and how good your decision making is in that particular moment, because things are happening so fast.
Yeah.
Even with good comms, the information you're getting by the time it leaves your teammates' lips is likely wrong. So you just gotta be good with the flow of the match and go from there.
Keep it on your feet, and of course handling the pressure, because whoo, that's a crazy situation to be in. But congrats to Bosco. Here is your award.
Don't the people vote? Do I just get to decide all these things? Like, I don't know.
Just like the Oscars.
Moonlight, Best Picture.
Which player do you think in NA was the most consistent? And let us know how you're deciding this. How did you come to this person?
The most consistent player so far this season, honestly, I want to say Laxing on Oxygen.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays a really weird style, but he's never underperforming in a game. He always shows up. His team can always rely on him. He plays his role really, really well. I don't think there's anybody else that even comes close to that point of recognition. And for me, it's Laxing.
At one point, maybe in the middle of the season, his cost was just really high up there.
It's extraordinarily high for what he does.
Exactly. Next category, we made this one sound really epic. Who do you think was the surpasser of expectations this stage?
There's a lot of there's a lot of players that have showed up that I didn't think would. The surpasser of my expectations. I'm gonna end up saying Iconic. He came in, he was brand new, never played in any professional experience, or never had any professional experience, and honestly, I think he did really well. That whole Sonics team was in a bit of a transitional period because they had to start off the season with 2 subs, and then out of nowhere, you know, Gomfi and Sleben finally show up, and then they play really, really well, and the Sonics come close to getting that major spot. For me, it's definitely gonna be Iconic.
So moving on to the next category, let's have some fun with this one.
Okay.
Who would be your first pick on a fantasy draft team?
I think consistency is important, but I want somebody who's going to perform well every single match. I want somebody who's good on multiple roles. My pick is going to be Bolo from TSM.
Bolo.
He is one of the best, if not the best, KDs in all of professional Rainbow Six across the whole world right now. He's good on a lot of different roles, good on defense, good on attack. When he warms up, he can take over games. There's nobody that's slowing him down. He's my pick.
So this one is about roster swaps. Which roster swap of stage 1 do you think worked out the best for a team?
Okay, well, I mean, I wouldn't go with stage 1 roster swap, but I think the best roster swap that we've seen so far was Dark Zero offloading Nyx to the old Reciprocity team, which is now Oxygen, and bringing in Skies. I think that was probably the best move that could have been made. Nyx, I think, was able to grow somewhat on that Reciprocity squad. Now he's doing, you know, a much greater leadership role on Disrupt. But I think Skies has been a really strong contributor to DZ. I think there's been obviously some issues with DZ not performing up to their own expectations, but I don't think Skies is one of the problems, and I think he's really flourished in that capacity. And I think he's become much less of a one-dimensional player, if you want to say, and he's matured as a person, and I think it was really a really strong move for Dark Zero.
Just talking about Dark Zero, I feel like there's been people saying they're kind of disappointed, you know, with how the team did. They maybe expected more from them. Do you feel like the potential is more, or is it just a natural, like they're a new team, new members, they're just getting their, you know, cohesion together? What's the potential for this team?
I honestly don't know what I diagnose as being the problem for Dark Zero. They have a lot of really good parts, but it seems like they're not great at adapting mid-round. And that obviously is a major problem against teams that are extraordinarily good at adapting mid-round, like TSM, like Oxygen, like Space Station, and I think that's a big issue. I don't know. Like I said, I've always kind of struggled to pinpoint what's wrong with DZ.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's leadership. I don't know if it's coaching or what. They are usually quite a smart team, but sometimes it just seems like they are lost in the middle of a match and they can't find their footing.
We're talking duos. So
Okay.
which duo do you think was the best in stage 1?
I'm gonna go with Rampy and Fultz on this one. I know that they both had down games, but when Rampy and Fultz show up, I just don't think there's anything that can really stop Space Station. Even if you get a lackluster performance from somebody like Thinking Nade or Bosco or Canadian, I honestly think that right now Rampy and Fultz, when they are on their game, are the unrivaled duo in all of North America. And I think that what we saw, there's maybe only 1 or 2 teams in the whole world that I think are able to match that 1-2 punch.
Are you gonna name those 2 teams?
I mean, I think Nip has that with Pino and Muzi. I think for sure, and then I think Rogue is definitely capable of it now as well. But I mean, Rogue is still a newer team, so I don't really want to say them outright. But it definitely seems like they're capable of that.
Yeah. But obviously, this duo that you picked.
BDS2, I guess.
Oh, so there's more than 2.
I mean, I don't know if they'll call Brede and Shaiko a 1-2 punch, but it certainly seems like it sometimes, even though Brede plays on different roles than we're used to in the dynamic duo kind of thing. But
yeah. All right, let's talk about rookies. Which rookie impressed you the most this stage?
Probably one of the easiest answers. It's NJR. I don't think anybody else is going to win that one. It should be unanimous. It's unanimous, by the way. There's no other answer. I know that the SQ guys are going to say iconic, but no, it's NJR steps onto a Disrupt squad that everybody thought DG was going to be awful. It was referred to as the Island of Misfit Toys on the official broadcast, which I think at the time was a very fair thing to say. But NJR shows up, he plays out of his mind against a couple world-class teams. He keeps DG in a couple matches that they had no business being in. The man is the rookie of the season, of the stage, maybe even the year, but he just shows up big and he gets it. Nobody else, no one.
I know our editors like to do funny stuff with their hands, so we should just give them, maybe not like that. Okay. Which team or I guess player do you think was the biggest surprise of the stage? I guess this could be taken positively or negatively, depending on how you want to interpret it.
The Sonics surprised me a lot as a team. Not that I thought they'd be a bad squad, but the fact they were able to go toe-to-toe as much as they were with Dark Zero and almost get that major spot was a real surprise. And, I think they might actually be able to get it if they have Gomfi and Sleben from the very start. In terms of what player surprised me, I'm going to say that there really isn't a clear answer as to who has stood out. There have been a couple people who've done really well. Chala, I guess, would probably be the answer on TSM. He hasn't been in any professional play for quite a while. He was toiling down in Challenger League. He steps onto the TSM roster in a role that isn't necessarily the most comfortable on a team that he doesn't know all that well, and the man is doing exceedingly well against strong opponents.
We like to give love to players that also tried their best and improved. So who do you think was the most improved this stage?
Most improved player this stage is probably going to be Easily. Not that I thought he was a bad player, but his stats on Rogue before they got unceremoniously relegated were quite poor, and I think it hurt his confidence. I think it impacted the way the team played, and he shows up on the Sonics, and he plays his role really well. He's on a thankless role, he's on support, he's on hard breach, and he puts up good numbers. And I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. I think he's playing with a, almost like a rejuvenated format or form, and I gotta say, he's definitely stepped his game up.
Those are all really serious ones, and to wrap it up, we have a category for best memer, and no, you cannot win this one, Intero. So who do you think? Well,
I'm a serious guy.
I saw him deploy after.
I'm not the one making erratic and suggestive.
You're the one with the erotic mind.
I said erratic, not erotic.
Now I want to give it to you. Don't wiggle your eyebrows. They don't need that. So who do you think was the best memer from stage 1? And this could be anyone. I think it's fair game for anyone.
I think the easiest answer is probably Suzaku, especially in North America. I want to give some honorable mentions to R6 Dick, who's relatively new. Great name. By the way, I believe it's short for Richard. We're going to go with that one.
Sure.
And then the Dark Zero squad has also been doing, I think, a lot better on social media recently. So those would be my 3 picks. But I mean, if you're looking at gold standard in North America, it's Suzaku. 100%. Always has been.
Yeah, I could see that, though. I have to also give a shout out to the Oxygen team, because I feel like their Twitter's pretty dank. And I mean, the individual members put some pretty dank things out there.
They just tweet about shoes and
No,
steaks
they
and women
don't.
and
They
cars.
spit and stuff now. You haven't seen the video?
I've seen the thirst traps.
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
wish I hadn't, but I have.
That's what you're literally saying what everyone's probably thinking, but you know what? Shout outs to them, breaking the
The
boundaries.
internet was a mistake.
Yeah.
The internet was a mistake.
All right, congrats everyone who was chosen by Intero. Here are the awards. Take them all, frame them. I don't know why you're framing a statue, but you get the
Why are
point.
you throwing the orange?
I don't know. Editors, make this make sense, okay? You guys let us know who your picks are on our socials at WatchRetake.